Hello students, good morning. Now today we are going to start the new unit or fourth unit or last unit of this text, that is 4.1. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. A thing of beauty is a joy forever, which is a poem written by John Keats. But before going to turn towards the actual poem, we must have to go through the warming up activity. It is also very important from the exam point of view. Here, first question, that is, fill in the acrostic with names of things related to nature. Fill in the acrostic with names of things related to nature. Beauty, we have to make acrostic by using the word beauty. Beauty, here B stands for butterfly. B stands for what? Butterfly. You also have to use your own acrostic. B stands for butterfly according to me. E for environment. E for environment. A for autumn. A for autumn. U for here universe. U for what? Universe. T for tulip. T for tulip. And Y for yak. These are the acrostic of the word beauty. You also have to use such type of words from nature, related to nature, and make acrostic by using the word butterfly. Now next question, question number B. Make a list of 10 words related to the word joy. For example, happiness. Now we have to make a list of related words. List of related word by using the word joy. One of the example is given here, that is happiness. Happiness is a word which is related to joy. Now we have to make such type of words related to the word joy. Okay, here 10 words we have to make. First one, ecstasy. Which one? Ecstasy. Second, enjoyable. Third, happiness. Fourth, gladness. Fifth, delight. Next, pleasure. After that, jubilation. Next one, glee. GLEE, glee means also joy. Next, rejoicing. And last one, bliss. Last one, what? Bliss. These are the words related to joy. Now we are going to turn towards the next question. Recollect a picnic or a trip to a spot of a natural beauty, a hill station, a beach, or forest area when you were younger. Write 4 beautiful, unforgettable scenes that left a deep impact on you. Now we have to recollect a picnic or a trip or to a spot of a natural beauty, such for example a hill station, a beach, as well as forest area when you were younger, and you have to write nearly about 4 unforgettable scenes that you haven't forget it, that left a deep impact on you. Okay, according to me, first one, the cloud was hanging on the mountains. The cloud was hanging on the mountains. Second, a beautiful flock of wildflowers. A beautiful flock of wildflowers. Third, the snow-clad mountain peaks all around. The snow-clad mountain peaks all around. And the last one, the small streams flowing everywhere. The small streams flowing everywhere. Whatever I have seen. Now you also have whatever you have seen, you can write regarding that. After that, next one, meter in poetry is a pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in lines of a poem. It gives rhythm to the poem. Read the poem below and aloud, and with any colored pen or pencil put stress marks on those syllables that are stressed in the words of poetic lines. Here the poem is given. Here you have to put a stress mark on those syllables that are stressed in the words of the poetic lines. The steadfast coursing of the stars, the waves that ripple to the shore, the vigorous trees which year by year spread upwards more and more, the jewel forming in the mind, the snow that falls so soft and light, the rising and the setting sun, the growing glooms of night, all natural things both live and move, and natural peace that is their own, only in our disordered life, almost is the unknown. Here, consonants and assonance. What is meant by consonants? What is meant by assonance? That is also given here. Consonants means what? A repetition of consonant sounds within a word, phrase, or a short sentence. What is meant by consonants here? A repetition of consonant sounds within a word or a phrase or a short sentence. One of the example is given here: Peter patter, chuckle pickle, sick duck, Betty brought some bitter butter. These are the examples of consonants. Now assonance. What is meant by assonance here? Repetition of vowel sound. Repetition of consonant sound means what? Consonants. And repetition of vowel sound means what? Repetition with a word, phrase, or sentence. For example, Jack had a bag, main sail, metal kettle. Let the engineer stir without fear. Here, these are the examples of assonance. Okay, one of the note is given here. Here, the focus is on pronunciation and not on the spelling of words. We must have to focus on pronunciation and not on the spelling of words by finding out consonants and assonance. While finding consonants or assonance, we must have to focus on only pronunciation, not the spelling of the words. Okay. So with the help of the given poem, here it is, this poem, we have to find out consonants as well as assonance with the help of this poem also. Now we are going to turn towards the actual poem, but before going to what we say that before going to turn towards or before going to discuss the whole poem, I am going to read at first. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Now please listen. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady bone for simple sheep and such a daffodils, with the green world they live in and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Gainst the hot season, the mid forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. We have imagined for the mighty dead all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink, powering unto us from the heavens brink. Nor do we merely feel this essence for one short hour, no, even as the trees that whisper round a temple become soon dear as the temple's self, so does the moon, the passion poesy, glories infinite, infinite, haunt us till they become a cheering light unto our souls and bound to us so fast that whether there be shine or gloom overcast, that always must be with us or we die. This is the poem. Now, before going to discuss the poem, I am going to give you a brief account of author or a poet who has written this poem. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. A poet, John Keats, an English poet, one of the famous poet, John Keats. Here it is mentioned, John Keats. Regarding John Keats, an English poet, one of the English poet, was one of the most popular of all British romantic poets. One of the most popular of British romantic poet, who was none other than John Keats. His poems are characterized by imagery from nature that appeal to one's senses. Actually, most of John Keats' poems are characterized by imagery from nature. Whatever things he had experienced in nature, he had written all these things through his writing that appeal to one's senses. Now, the present poem is the first stanza of a longer poem, Endymion, based on Greek mythology. Now, here, whatever poem is mentioned here, the present poem is the first stanza only. It is the first stanza of a longer poem, Endymion. Endymion, based on Greek mythology. Endymion is a poem which is based on Greek mythology, and the present poem is the first stanza of this poem, that is Endymion. Okay. Now the first line has become proverbial. Here in this line, in the first line there is a proverb. In the first line there is a proverb means that the first line has become proverbial. The poem was first published in 1818. Here the poem published in 1818. Okay, now we are going to discuss the poem stanza wise. Now, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Up to here. Now, a thing of beauty. Here, the word bower. What is meant by bower? It is also given here. Bower means for a pleasant, shady place under trees or climbing plants. Here, as we have seen that Endymion is a poem of a great beauty. In this poem, John Keats has expressed his conception of beauty and has given a unique definition of beauty here. According to here classical mythology, Endymion was a beautiful youth with whom the moon goddess fell in love, and she induced a perpetual sleep in order to kiss him without his knowledge. In this poem, the poet says that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Here he want to praise regarding the beauty of nature. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. Its loveliness of beauty, a loveliness of nature, nature's beauty increases. It will never pass into nothingness. It will not pass. The beauty of nature will not pass, but still will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams. Bower, again I am going to repeat that. What is meant by bower here? A pleasant shady place under trees or climbing plants. But still will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Here in this poem, the poet says that beauty is a constant source of joy. Its loveliness increases with the passage of time. With the pass of time here. Beauty is immortal. It appears in many shapes. It appears in many shapes. Therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways made for our searching, as in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Okay, up to here. Now the word morrow. Morrow means what? The following day. Morrow means what? The following day. It is also given. Wreathing. Here it means waving with flowers. Waving with flowers. And spite of despondence. Spite of means what? In spite of. In spite of despair. Despondence means what? Despair. In spite of despair. Dearth, that is shortage. Dearth, that is what? Shortage. And last one here, the word pall means what? A shawl, a sheet spread over the dead. A sheet spread over the dead. That is called here pall. Okay, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing. Every following day are we wreathing, are we waving with flowers a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, in spite of despair of the inhuman shortage of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Here, it appears in many shapes. Beauty is immortal. It appears in many shapes. The world is full of misery, but the beautiful objects of nature, such as the sun, moon, that is also mentioned before. After that, here the beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such as the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simply sheep and such a daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear reels that for themselves a cooling covert make against the season. Here through this poem, I have told you that beauty is immortal. It appears in many shapes. The world is full of misery, but the beautiful objects of nature mentioned here, such as the sun, the moon, old and new trees and flowers, gives us great pleasure, and we forget our griefs. When we wander in nature, definitely we forget whatever griefs we have, whatever sadness we had, and whatever misery we have felt. But when we feel the beauty of nature at the same time, such as sun, moon, old and new trees, flowers, all these things give us great pleasure and we forget our griefs. It means that beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Beauty moves away the pall. Pall means streams. A sheet spread over the dead. That is called pall here. Beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. We also see glimpses of beauty of the grand places which we imagining for the mighty dead, which we must have to imagine here for the mighty dead. Similarly, we derive great pleasure from lovely tales which we have read or heard. That is also given before. After that, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such a daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. The midst forest break rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Here, the word dooms means what? Last day of existence known for displayed. Last day of existence known for displayed. Break means what here? Ferns. Covert means what? Shade here. Covert means what? Shade. Again, we have seen here the word boon and reels. The word boon means what here? Gift. And reels means what? Streams. Here, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the domes we have imagined for the mighty dead, or lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. The word brink means age, heaven's brink, and nor do we merely feel these essence, nor one short hour, no even as the trees that whisper round a temple become soon dear as the temple self, so does the moon. The passion, poesy, glories infinite haunt us till they become a cheering light unto our souls, and bound to us so fast that whether there be shine or gloom overcast, that always must be with us or we die. Here the word poesy. Poesy means what? Poetry here. And overcast, that is spread above. Overcast means what? Spread above. Here again I'm going to repeat that we also see glimpses of beauty of the grand places which we imagining for the mighty dead. Similarly, we derive great pleasure from lovely tales which we have read or they heard. There are masterpieces of literature and art which serve as source of eternal joy. Heroic deeds and lives of great men of the past too are among these objects of beauty. It is the height of Keats' imagination, John Keats' imagination. All these visions of beauty are like a fountain. It is also given here. All these things are like a endless fountain which gives an immortal dark to our thirsty souls. That is also given here. It is just like an endless fountain. All these visions of beauty are like a fountain which gives an immortal drink, immortal dark to our thirsty souls, or immortal drink to our thirsty souls. After that, we are going to see that John Keats is an ardent lover of beauty. So this is his fundamental belief, and it operates in all his poems. He is really in search of truth. He wants to enjoy beauty to the best possible degree. Endymion is a magnificent poem which reflects profound love of the poet for beauty, as it is a constant source of spiritual joy. Therefore, on must we must not forget a thing of beauty is a joy forever. We must not forget that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. So in this way we have seen this poem. Now after that, in that poem we have actually seen regarding what? Regarding bower, marrow, some of the words we have seen, some of the what we say that here. Here we have seen the poet describes fountain as endless, poet describes drink as immortal, also he describes trees as old and young, he describes world as green. Already we have seen that some of the what we say that words which shows alliteration and clear reels that for themselves a cooling covers makes means as well as sprouting a shady bone. These words shows alliteration here. After that, we have seen some of the related words regarding nature. We have seen that example from the passage of alliteration. We have seen the passion, poesy, glories and fight. Various example of alliteration are given here in this poem. Okay, in this way we have seen this poem. Now remaining part or remaining next lesson we will see afterwards. Okay, thank you.